Alright, welcome back. As you can tell, I am obviously not outside or in the garage. And again, that's because the weather has just not been cooperating. Unfortunately, here in Canada, it gets very, very questionable, and it's hard to predict the weather. So you have one day where it's like clear, and then the next day, or even the next hour, it just starts snowing randomly. So that's fun. Snowing today, which isn't ideal, but it is what it is. We can never predict the weather here. So I decided, why not have a browse on Marketplace to see what motorcycles are for sale? Because if anyone's familiar with the motorcycle marketplace experience, it's usually not good. It's definitely a lot worse, I think, here in Canada. So we're gonna have a gander. We're gonna look through some bikes, see if there's any diamonds in the rough or any very questionable finds on here. Let's just get into it. The first one that caught my eye, I've seen earlier, is this black Ninja 250, like the beginner bike special. And if you look closely at it, it's got heated grips. Like, this is it's got, I've never, I can't say I've ever seen that before. Heated grips on a little Ninja 250. There is something about it that is appealing. I rode one of these once, but that's just because it was the first time riding it, and I was trying to learn the bite point on the clutch, and it just wouldn't. It was not where it was supposed to be. It was really far out. So yeah, this got an aftermarket tail tidy, or I don't even know if you can consider this a tail tidy, because it's just still a license plate holder that sticks way out and is so off colored that it doesn't even go with the bike at all. It's got lots of scratches, tons and tons of scratches. What looks like the OEM pipe, just without the shroud on it, I think. But like, for $1,000, I mean, there's probably some stuff wrong with it, to be fair, because you don't typically get a bike for a grand and not have issues with it. It says it's been his project bike over the winter. Carbs rebuilt. That's good, because this bike is carbureted, which is fun sometimes. The bike idles fine, but will not rev past 3K. I suspect a fuel filter issue, which would be a quick fix. See, why is he selling it though, if it was just a simple fix? Yeah, see, that's why I try to stay away from cheap bikes like that, unless you are looking for a project or to buy somebody else's project. But I personally would not, because especially these Ninja 250s, they are beat up a lot, because again, they're beginner bikes and they get just hammered on by people not really knowing what they're doing. So yeah, I'm not even gonna look at kilometers, like the actual odometer, because for me personally, I think the amount of kilometers on a motorcycle doesn't matter as long as you take care of it. That's kind of what the person told me when I bought my first bike, is a bike can run forever so long as you take care of it. And that's kind of how I acquired a bike with over 100,000 kilometers on it. So speaking of cheap bikes, here we have another $1,000 bike, but this is more, I want to say this is more reasonable because it's an older bike. It's a 1994 CBR 600. I don't mind the color. Obviously, it's got some road rash. It's been laid down at a decent speed based on these scratches. Just cosmetic is what it is. Still a good price for the bike. I assume, again, there's probably some issues with it considering the price though. Yeah, project bike. And it doesn't tell you what's wrong with it, so that's not good. you never really want to buy a project bike, at least in my mind, without at least being told what's wrong with it up front. So maybe doesn't know, or he bought it not knowing if there was an issue or what the issue was, or perhaps, you know, he just doesn't want to put it in the description, because a lot of people will try and sell something without telling you what's exactly wrong with it, or they'll try and hide it so that you don't know until it's too late. But yeah, you want to kind of avoid those, especially when it comes to motorcycles. They're kind of tedious. You have to, you know, make sure every little thing is good, or else, you know, you could be in a world of trouble and you might end up, you know, crashing or something. Or maybe the bike just breaks down on you. Here's another one that I thought was intriguing, and I feel like I've talked about it in the last video. It's just the style of like cafe racers. I personally like the look of them, but I don't think they're an ideal like riding position or like comfort ride, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's meant for comfort. I think it's meant for like short city trips, not like long rides. I don't know, that's just me. I just, based on the way that they're made, you know what I mean? Because like, you've got sort of mid rear set positioning, right? So your legs would be sort of angled, and because they put the clip-ons so far down and like close to the, you know, the forks, it makes it like really low. So your riding position is low inherently, like you're leaned over, and you're, I don't know, I just think it looks uncomfortable. Like it would feel uncomfortable to ride, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool to look at and maybe ride once in a while, but I just can't see a world where I would feel comfortable riding such a bike. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't see it. I don't see the vision. I'm sorry, I don't. Again, cool bike for 2,700. I think that's a pretty good price. Obviously you gotta take a lot of care of it, because, you know, it probably takes a little more to keep running than, I want to say, a regular bike, but I don't know. I could be not knowing what I'm talking about. So we got a Cafe CX 500 Cafe Racer. Like, he's literally got it just on display. Like, it's just what I was talking about. It's nice to look at, and he's just got it on display. There's no fluids in the engine or anything. He's drained it out, but it could run. So if you did want Cafe Racer, you could get that for a decent price. Ones that catch my eye quite a bit are these older sports bikes, like the ZX6Rs from before, or like the 954s from Honda. This is a ZX7 actually. I think these are pretty unique. This reminds me of my first bike with the headlight orientation. I think it's a good looking bike, honestly. I really like it. They're a little bulky as far as sport bikes go, but I mean, for the price and the amount of power you're getting, I think it's well worth it. Like, if you wanted something cheap and sort of, you know, speedy, you get, you know, what you pay for. Like, this is a 750, right? So you get speed. You're not lacking there at all, but you do have to deal with the bulkiness of like an old sports bike. You know, they're not as slim and agile as the newer ones. So, and you typically have to deal with like higher kilometers, but again, kilometers don't really, you know, mileage doesn't really matter so long as you take care of the bike, or the bike was taken care of. But 2,800 is a good price. Definitely, you could probably get it lower, you know, haggle the guy, but yeah. And as you go through, you always see the beginner bikes. You're gonna see tons of Ninja 250s and tons of just random bikes. Like, what is this? This like modified CB 650 cruiser. You've got your occasional classic bikes. I wouldn't mind one of these. See, let's look at this one. This is a 1972 Honda CB 350. Definitely not the seat. What the heck? What is that? What is that? That is not a seat. That's not a seat. That's like felt covered nothing. What am I looking at? There's a very, very big lack of seat here, and it's kind of bothering me because you can see like the bolt holes and what should be under the seat. Why is it missing? You know what? We're not even gonna acknowledge that one because it needs a lot more. I think it's a project, is what it said. So yeah. Also, what the heck is this? Why does the KTM 390 have a Repsol wrap on it? What is going on? What is happening here? You could have just got a Honda. Why would you? You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, here's something nice. A Ducati Monster. And you'll find, especially here in Canada, a lot of people think their bike holds so much value because of the brand and the modifications they put on it. And I'll find one to show you, for example, just because of the modifications, but a lot of people misjudge the worth of a motorcycle or vehicle just because of the modifications they put on it. So this is a nice looking bike. I personally don't like Ducati Monsters. There was a one point where I did consider buying one, but that was before I really thought it through, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want a naked bike. Plus, you know, Ducati. It's a nice looking bike though. It's clean. I would say the price is definitely not reasonable. Maybe it's a little up there because of the color or the edition, I guess. I don't know, it says diesel edition. Hell if I know what that means, but I assume it's a special edition one because of the color and whatnot. Oh yes, it's a special run motorcycle. 369 of 1,000. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't think this is actually free. You see these sometimes where people will put free motorcycle, but looking at the description, he's not lying. He said yes, free motorcycle. It's a project that doesn't run. I think he wants a trade. So I'm just skimming through it. Yeah, I think he wants a trade. That's why. And let's have a look for something that is just like my example. What in good God's name is this thing? Oh my jixerific. I'm looking at a, wow, no description first of all. A camo GSXR 750 stretched with a titanium pipe of sorts. It's lowered too, fuck me sideways, and probably one of the ugliest things I've ever laid my eyes on. This thing is so bad. Listen, it's on par with like the people who stretch their 600s and do the most amount of like quote unquote weight savings to make their roll racing 600 the fastest thing on, you know, the little imagination planet they call Earth. But yeah, I don't know what that, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Here's a good one, the Adventure 390. Is this Adventure 390? It is. I like this bike. There was actually a time not too long ago when I considered buying one of these, and I still would, but I think I would get a bigger model because it just doesn't have the same luxuries as some of the bigger adventure bikes, like in the KTM lineup. Like if you look at this and you compare it to like the Adventure 1290, you don't get as much for it, you know what I mean? Yes, you're gonna pay a lot more, but you just get more quality out of the bigger models. You know what I mean? Okay, so there was one particular model or particular post that I found a while back and I was thinking about for a long time because it's such a great example for what I was talking about. So you'll probably notice it right off the bat, but So have a look. Okay, have a look at this. Right here we have a 2022 BMW S1000RR. Right, this is a reasonable price for what's considered, you know, a newer S1000. Right, this is what I'd say is a Gen 3. You know, with the new look. That's a reasonable price. 19,000, around 20,000, right? For what is almost a brand new leader bike. Have a look 2 slots to the right and up. Here we have a reasonable post for a 2010 S1000. It's the same model that I have. I have a 2011, but pretty much a reasonable price, right? 9,000. Yep. Makes sense. All good. If you look directly below it, there's even like other first gens that are reasonably priced, you know what I mean? But have a look at this first gen. I wanted to make an example of this one specifically because what in God's name makes this person think their first gen 2010 BMW S1000 is worth 20 grand? In no world is this bike worth $20,000. That same price tag, you can get that 2022 or even probably newer S1000 rather than this thing. Okay, let's have a look through. It's fully modded, obviously. That's kind of why he thinks it's so valuable. So obviously we've got what seems to be a wrap or a paint job. We've got some carbon fenders, some carbon trim. I don't know if that's actual carbon or if it's just, you know, fake carbon, but we'll go with the it doesn't matter. The windscreen is carbon, if you didn't notice, because who needs to see through their windscreen? We've got what seems to be probably, I want to say, titanium bolts. That's probably why he's got more value added on. He's got blue titanium bolts. He's got blue bar ends. It's very obviously lowered and stretched. It's got engine case sliders, also in blue. There's a breather here, but I'm not quite sure what it's for. I don't know why that would be there, but maybe the description will shed some light. Obviously, we've got probably real Rizoma mirrors. I don't know why, but he's done this photo shoot outside of someone's mansion, because there's no way that's his. I could just be talking shit. I don't actually know. Evidently, yes, it's got an acro exhaust, probably full titanium system front to back. That's also another couple thousand he's added into it. I think these clip-ons are lowered, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, but the bike itself is definitely lowered. I'm not sure what else. There's a button here. That's questionable. Do you have nitrous on this thing? What am I looking at? Oh, look at that. He's got underglow. That definitely adds on another couple thousand. He's got a little color selector here for his underglow. No way. Oh, wait, does he actually have nitrous? He unironically has nitrous. I'm fairly certain that's what that is. That's not air suspension or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's nitrous. He's got axle sliders. I mean, like, what else could you ask for? I mean, this thing is next level. Is that a ram mount? I think it is. I'm actually kind of surprised he doesn't even have aftermarket rear sets, but he does have carbon protectors or whatever. He's got a Brock's aftermarket seat. Oh my goodness, what? Why? I don't understand. Also, this tire looks a little stretched. Like I don't know, it looks wider. He's got some sort of phone mount on there. Is that also, hold on, I think it didn't quite show it, but I think, Adjustable suspension? You can see the knob here. I seen it in the other picture. You can see there's a blue knob here. He's got adjustable, like manual adjustable suspension. Okay, let's have a look at the actual description and see if it explains. 2010 BMW S1000RR drag bike. This bike is fully modded out. The motor is fully built and tuned to push 250 horsepower. Okay. Mind you, most like leader bikes out of the factory, I think, are like 180 to 200 horsepower, something like that. I don't know. Nitrous bottle and hookup to the engine for extra boost. Carbon fiber rims, front and back. What? You know what? I want to question the carbon fiber rims so badly just because they are more fragile than regular like rims, right? But obviously this is all in the name of weight saving, so sure, buddy, you do you. The rims are $8,000 alone. Well, that's just minus $8,000 for you. If you took that $8,000 out of the price, you'd have a reasonable number. Okay, he says the engine is fully built and tuned, but like, do we have, like, you telling us all the other stuff, but like, if you're gonna say the engine's built, you gotta tell, you know, what exactly has been built. You know what I mean? Like, have you done everything from like the actual blocks, you know, the rods and the valves, and you know what I mean, like the pistons, like forged, you know, pistons and stuff like that. You know, if actually rebuilding the engine for racing and to, you know, take that amount of boost. I don't know. Some people just be saying shit. Some, you know, maybe he just maybe he just changed the air filter and said the engine was built. You don't know. Yep, full titanium exhaust, Brembo brakes and levers. I mean, don't the S1000 come with Brembos out of the factory? Maybe not master, but the actual calipers, yeah, pretty sure. Engine case and shield, protectors, accessories, quick release gas tank cap, can't forget that. It's got cable. Like, what if it's a drag bike? Why would you need to put the underglow? Ugh, you know what? I don't really care. It doesn't matter. See how he just said wing style mirrors? They're probably not real Rizomas. Always serviced on time. See, you say, I don't know, you say that, but like, if we're talking about like a dedicated track bike or like, you know, drag bike, it shouldn't be ridden on the roads at all, to be fair, and it should be kept in a garage until you go to track day, as far as I'm concerned as well. So the like serviced on time thing makes me think it's just not actually a track user, but like just roll racing on the highway, which is kind of sad. This bike is more, you know what, the bike has more than twice the money put into what's current. What? You're into this for 40 grand? What? Yeah, see, he says that, but I think he's lying, and I think it's just a way to get you to, you know, gauge interest and like be like, ooh, wow, there's $40,000 worth of stuff in this bike. No, there's not. There's fucking not. No world, no way, and no world is there $40,000 worth of anything in this bike. For $40,000, you can buy an H2, bruh. Or fucking hell no. He's waffling so hard. This bike is not. Nope. Yeah, as you can see, he's got the lowering strap on the front there. And yes, they do have OEM Brembos. I do remember looking at mine, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I remember. Anyways, it's just been a while because mine's sitting in storage right now. So first come, first serve. Test rides with cash in hand. Yeah, right, buddy. Gonna test ride it right into a wall. Anyways, that's kind of all I wanted to show, because example wise that fits it, because you can get a Gen 2 obviously for less than that. Like here we've got a Gen 2 S1000. It says HP4, but I don't think that's accurate unless it shows the dash. No. But yeah, the Gen 2s are nice. This is a little here's another one where it's like, this one's a little more reasonable, but the price is still a little bullshit, because you can get, again, this is a 2015. This is like the first second gen, something like that, and this guy thinks it's worth 21.5 just because of the modifications. See, look, we've got the halo headlights, we've got probably fake Rizomas. No, they might be real Rizomas. Light tinted windscreen. It's white, so it's not OEM. We've got these brown like leather seats, which I think is nice with the white, but again, probably just what he thinks adds value. We've got some slim, low profile turn signals, an Austin Racing exhaust, probably titanium all the way back, so you can see a little blue there. It's got like stickers going around the rims there, just so you know. Probably integrated tail light if I had to guess. And yeah, that's about it. I don't know why he thinks I don't know why he thinks it's worth 21.5, but that is an absurd price to think your bike is worth, and especially being a 2015. Like, even the amount of kilometers on the dash doesn't justify it. Like, if it was less than 10,000, maybe, and that's like a hard maybe, but no low balls, please, and no trades. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, buddy, but this thing is not worth 20 grand. This thing is a hot piece of shit. I don't know what else to tell you, buddy. Also, what the hell is this? This is not the OEM taillight. Why is it rounded? Where's the spiky? Ew. Ew. I prefer the spiky OEM. You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. This bike actually pisses me off. Alright, anyways, that's all I wanted to really talk about. Alright, well, I think I'm done here. I've had enough of Marketplace for the day. It's some, listen, there's some good stuff, there's some bad stuff, there's a lot of bad stuff. You gotta sift through the bad to get to the good, and you gotta really know what you're looking for when it comes to Marketplace motorcycles here in Canada, because oh my gosh, it's terrible. Anyways, with that being said, as usual, I appreciate you guys for hanging out, and I'm done.